Welcome back to the January edition of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz. And we're really pleased to have a special guest, Charlie Leis. Charlie, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Let me tell our viewing and listening audience a little bit about your background. First of all, you're the retired vice chair and the CEO of Bromco Incorporated, and you're presently the president of EdChoice Kentucky, and that's what we'll be talking about today. But before we do, wow, do you have a long history of involvement in Catholic schools? St. Paul Catholic School, Bishop David High School, Bellarmine, and I know you and your wife Dolores are very active at St. Margaret Mary Church, and you have 3 grown children, so that ought to keep you occupied, but really you have been a mainstay in your leadership throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky concerning education choice and the scholarship tax credits that we're all excited about. So let me begin by asking you, tell us a little bit about EdChoice.
Well, first, thanks for having me here. EdChoice Kentucky is a coalition of quite an array of business leaders, educators, professionals, parents, and individuals who advocate for school choice for students in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Our primary advocacy is for a technique called scholarship tax credits, because in Kentucky, certain other things like vouchers are not constitutional. Mm-hmm. So we're really focused on scholarship tax credits. EdChoice Kentucky shouldn't be confused with another EdChoice you may find if your viewers tend to Google. There was an organization called the Friedman Foundation in Indianapolis that changed their name to EdChoice after we were already in existence.
Okay, but they're in Indiana and we're in Kentucky, and
right.
we have a right to keep our name.
We sure
exactly.
do. And that's why we put Kentucky on the end of it too. So. EdChoice Kentucky has been around now for about 4 years. I have served as president of the organization for the last 3 years. And I got involved in it, partly I think you had something to do with it, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm glad to say that, but knowing your free will, I know that you decided on your own to be able to say yes, and we're really grateful for that.
But a lot of my interest in education has been for many, many years, both at the local school levels, and then I served 2 6-year terms on the Catholic Education Foundation. Right. And when my terms expired there, it became a natural fit because the mission is so aligned with it. And that's how I got involved and served now for the last 3 years as president. The actual formation of the EdChoice Kentucky kind of came out of the CCK. Mm-hmm.
This is the Catholic Conference of Kentucky.
That's
exactly
correct.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, the first scholarship tax credits bill was filed in 1998 by some members of the Catholic Education Foundation.
Wow,
but
20 years ago.
But it didn't go anywhere. That's back when you were in Pennsylvania.
Well, that's
you
right.
Guys
and
passed
actually
it.
Was involved with the school choice opportunity that did pass in
That's
Pennsylvania
correct.
about 20 years ago.
It was
You're
20
right.
years ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, to get it moving in Kentucky, a lot of the Catholic schools are north of Bardstown. Now mm-hmm. we have some scattered around, and it's becoming more and more as populations migrate. Mm-hmm. But we had to make sure that this covered all non-public schools, not just Catholic schools. It's got quite a tetherance to Catholic schools because almost 40% of the non-public schools are Catholic schools, mm-hmm. and because that's been the mission of the church. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's a little background.
Well, that's a good
on what
background, and I think one of the most basic things that I think draws you and me to this is that parents and the student, if they have money, they have a choice. So we're really interested in people who perhaps cannot afford and need assistance to be able to choose what is the best environment in which their child can thrive, or young adult, because many of them are, of the young people are in high school. Thank you, and you've put a face on the whole process of Educational Choice Kentucky, and are well known in every corner of the Commonwealth right now. There's a lot of how would I call it, politically charged aspects to it. I think we all should be concerned, I think, not so much with this building or this school, but rather this student. How is this student going to be able to thrive? And that's so crucial to our Catholic mission. But Charlie, there are a lot of misconceptions too. Tell us a little bit about what are some of the key areas that are really the truth about scholarship tax credits, and what are some of the misconceptions?
And I'll be happy to do that. But can I first tell your viewers a little, just quickly, what scholarship tax credits
That's
are?
it. That'd be perfect.
Scholarship tax credit is a process where businesses and individuals can give to what's referred to in the bill as a scholarship granting organization. Now, those of in the Archdiocese of Louisville know what that is, because the CEF, or Catholic Education Foundation, is such an organization.
Exactly.
And then that organization is responsible for distributing the funds. So the people who give the donation to the SGO do not have any say as to where it goes. From there, the SGO gives it out to very qualified students, and I'll come back to that in just a second. And then when that is accomplished, the state incentivizes these businesses and individuals to give it via a credit against their income taxes for a portion of the donation they make. Hence the terminology scholarship tax credits.
So really, it's not state money. It's not tax dollars. It's a donation. But then the groups or individuals or corporations that donate, they get a credit.
That's right.
But it actually is a donation coming from
private investment to this SGO,
who in turn incentivizes
Right.
and helps the student. Perfect.
Now the students, and this kind of gets into some of the criticism. One of the criticisms is it says, well, it's just a way for wealthy people to get a tax deduction. And that is, it's so far from the truth. To qualify, there's three ways you qualify. One is financial need.
Right.
Another one is special needs student. And
Right.
third is foster child. In two of the three, you must demonstrate your financial need. You must go through the means testing, which many organizations are familiar with that.
Right.
And that is where you submit your financial information to determine whether you really do it. The third one, foster children are automatically given full funding of the tuition. And the reason you do that is they move from one home to another. And you're trying to put something stable in their life. Right. And that school may very well be that proxy. So that's one
I think
very common
That is great. I know
misunderstanding.
we have only about a minute left. Believe it or not, this time flies by. But I will have to say that great progress was made in 2019. And now your prospect with regard to 2020, because we want our viewers to take an interest and be involved in this process. What's the chances?
The chances are really very good. Leadership has said this is going to be a priority for them, and that's both the House and the Senate. We do have a governor who has stated he's opposed to it. It may very well veto it. We don't know, but I think we have sufficient votes in both chambers of the House or of the legislature to see the bill.
Well, we
through.
certainly, and I know you're working hard to make this a bipartisan issue. This is not a political issue.
No.
It's an issue to help students to thrive. And as the Archbishop, whether a child is in public school or in one of our Catholic schools or in a private school, I want the best for that student. And I know you do too.
And that's what it's all about. It's all about the kids.
Charlie, thank you. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you so much for being here and at least giving us a little taste in scholarship tax credits. And I want to thank you, the viewers, for listening in on this conversation. And I hope you will stay tuned for the next segment of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz.